Okay, awesome. Well, thank you, Cirdes, for joining me for my kind of casual, unprofessional conference chats that I'm doing to kind of try to record some of the knowledge of conference organizers, especially in the Ruby and Rails space, um, and put them all on a blog so that other people organizing conferences can see them and it can help them out. Um, you actually wrote a really great blog post after your first time organizing Tropical on Rails. And I read that and I have a ton of questions for you. But at the first one, actually, I kind of want to go back before that because you kind of had some conference experience before you did Tropical on Rails, specifically because you had an event startup. Can you kind of tell us about that and what your experience was before getting to Tropical on Rails?
Sure. And first, thank you for being doing that. I wish I had that content before I started Tropical on Rails. Um, yeah, I had a company before that was called Eventic. It was a Eventbrite for Brazilian markets. So we had a lot of tech conference as a client. So I went to Brazil JS, the largest JS conference in the world that is being held here in Brazil. I had the opportunity to go to a lot of Ruby events here, a lot of front-end events, and I also had the opportunity to go to international conference like the WASA one. It was a conference that Hiroko used to organize in US. So I was lucky to had the opportunity to go to a lot of events, and not only as an attendee, but as someone that was helping the organizers to onboard all the attendees there. So I was able to sneak peek inside the organization phase of the those conference. So that helped me a little bit.
Nice. Yeah. Um, so one of the things that kind of really blew me away is that you guys sold out your tickets in the first 3 days uh, for your first conference. Um, can you tell me kind of how you think you achieved that? Because I feel like that's really unique and really impressive. So yeah, I just want to see if you have any insights on how you think you achieved that.
Yeah, that was unexpected. I wasn't uh, aware that it will gonna happen, but I think looking back, I believe that what made the event to sold out so quickly is because I did something in a certain way. Like, for example, usually I go to other events and try to find the keynotes. And I did that on the first edition. We managed to have awesome keynotes like Aram, like Lean, that are the keynotes for Rails World, for example. So I had them on my webpage before I had a button to buy the tickets. Also, I was lucky enough to have Rafael França as a friend of mine, and he was able to step in and helping me out with the event. So because he's so well known inside the community, we got unaware of the event, and also he was responsible for bringing Aaron for bringing a link to a new conference here in Brazil. And then when I had that on a web page, I spent I think 6 months going to another event to speak there, and then I was talking about the conference. I was trying to post about the conference. I was trying to creating social media content to say, oh, we are going to bringing back Troco, be prepared. So I spoke with a lot of regional Ruby events organized inside Brazil because we have a huge community. So I talk with almost every one of them. I reach some kind of influencers from the Ruby community, like uh, Juliana Diaz, that is very popular on Twitter, on the Telegram, and I brought her close. She helped us to organize the first edition. Also, Deborah did the same. But I started to, making to create a FOMO. Oh, we're gonna have that. That will be huge. And everyone was already talking about Tropical before we released the tickets, before we put a link there to people could go there and be able to, acquire a ticket. So I spent months doing that. So when we release the sales, we usually have a promotional lot. So when people start to buy and people start to see that promotional lot is, it's sold out, people are willing to say to the friends, oh man, go there and buy your tickets because we don't know, maybe we are gonna miss that. So I don't know. So that's what happened. Everyone was going there, and we had the promotional lot, the first lot, the second lot, and people started to feel that the event will be sold out. So that's what led to that. Was a mix of trying to release content, trying to announce the keynotes before things happen, and trying to be present on social medias and trying to connect with people that could help us to spread the word about the conference.
Okay, so what I actually wanted to do is get like a timeline from you, because as I was reading your blog post, I noticed that you did some things in a different order than I'm thinking about things right now. And I think that how you did it was actually pretty smart. And I kind of want to get a timeline for that. So before that first one, we were just talking about how you kind of did this marketing push before opening up ticket sales. So when did you really start thinking about uh, actually doing the conference? And then when did you start doing the marketing? Like how long before your first conference was that?
Okay, so first thing first, that conference used to be organized 10 years before at the northeast of Brazil. And that's why we call it tropical. Right now, we are doing the conference in Sao Paulo, not tropical that much, but we used to have that conference back then, 10 years before. So we stopped doing that because Lailson, that was the main organizer of the conference, he lost a lot of money during the first conference. And then we used to have here in Brazil, the RubyConf Brazil, and it was the main Ruby conference here. And after the pandemic, they decided not to organize the conference anymore. So I have a company here as well, and I love working with Ruby Rails. So I realized that we were in a bad, I think, not in a good spot. We wasn't seeing that much of people talking about Ruby, talking about Rails. So I was worried that I would have to go to another stack. So I realized, and it was 1 year before I did the conference, that something needed to be done. And I had the experience of running conference because I helped to organize Tropical past editions. I had the network because I knew Rafael França, I knew a lot of Rubists here in Brazil. And I was lucky that I had my own company that was willing to pay for the bill if I couldn't raise enough money to organize the conference. So I realized that I was kind of the right person to push a new conference to bring the conference back. So it was a year before, even before we even just a few months later, we had the first Rails World. So when I saw that, the first thing that I did was to call Rafael and say, hey, man, we need to do that. People are not talking about Rails here in Brazil anymore. People seems to be depressed. Let's bring the energy back that we are used to have 10 years before when we used to run the first edition of the conference. So, Rafael, okay, let's do it. And the first thing that I did was to bought a ticket to Rails World. And when I decided to go to the Rails World, I have printed a lot of t-shirts like that one, but purple ones, you know. And I put on my bag a lot of t-shirts and went straight to Tropical, and I started to giving away the t-shirts and ask, oh man, do you like a Tropical Conference t-shirt? Please do me a favor, wear this on the event. And then everyone was using a purple nice t-shirt with a huge Ruby logo on that, and people start asking, oh, what's that? What's
Yeah.
that t-shirt? Oh, it's a conference in Brazil, Tropical, blah blah blah. And that was in September, and the conference was in April, so a lot of months before the conference. So that was how I brought the international attention to the conference, and where I had approached Aaron and the Lean. I brought them cachaça, that's a beverage from Brazil. I brought a small gift to them, and man, you should go to Brazil. It would be awesome. Let's go there, and the community really want you guys to be there. So Rafael helped me out, and we convinced them to come to Brazil next year. So the straight answer is that I start being preparing for the first edition of the conference 1 year before the events.
Okay. And so was that the first one in April?
Yeah.
Okay. And then so you started like 1 year before that. Um, when did you open up ticket sales?
Usually I follow the same schedule. I go to Rails World, and just after Rails World, I close the keynotes, and then I release the website with the keynotes like between October. By the end of October, I'm open the ticket sales, because
Okay.
I already have everyone on the website and everything is prepared. And just after the sales, then I start thinking about sponsors, because other thing that I learned is that sometimes by other experience, when you approach companies, at least here in Brazil, they want to bargain a lot. Oh, please let me be platinum paying the silver, that kind of stuff. So I was looking for some kind of leverage. Oh, I have all tickets sold out. So do you want send your employees to the conference? I have that badge reserved for sponsors. Oh, do you want to promote your branding for Ruby developers? That would be the best place, because I already have a lot of attendees there. So I was really how can I say, I got that leverage because I was not willing to bargain, because that's so hard, man. I'm not a
Yeah.
salesperson, I don't want to, negotiate with companies that they send me sales guys on the other side. They are much better than me to negotiate. So my strategy was, I will not negotiate. That's not for profitable. That's something that I'm planning, that I want to do for the community. Do you want that terms or not? So
Yeah.
that's the one of the trickiest part that I had to deal with.
Yeah. When did you have your CFP?
After that,
Oh, okay.
between November, and I opened the CFP, and I usually announce the other speakers by mid of January.
Okay, wow. Okay. So you kind of had um you kind of did first the getting the keynote speakers, then the selling all the tickets, then getting sponsors, then doing your CFP to get your other speakers.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense though.
Yeah,
Um,
because I can't do everything at once. So I
right.
have to take priorities. So that's
Yeah.
why I would like to start talking about sponsors much earlier or open the CFP earlier, but I don't have time to do everything at once. So that was
Right.
the way that I find to be the best order for us.
Yeah. So I guess I was because my strategy is to get as much money because I don't have a company backing this, right? So if I lose money, it's my money. So my thinking was, oh, I'm gonna try to go get sponsors now so that I'll know how much money I have to do stuff like t-shirts or like paying for speakers travel and stuff like that to kind of try to create a budget before I plan the rest of the conference because I want to try to mitigate losing money. But I see your strategy and it makes a lot of sense to kind of create the conference first in order to use that as leverage to get the sponsors and to get the ticket sales as well. It's it seems like higher risk in my mind, but it does make a lot of sense. Um,
Yeah, you're right. It's maybe high risk, but it's if you are thinking as a sponsor, it's the first edition of an event. They don't know if that event will be good or not, who will be willing to travel to that event. So
yeah,
it will be much harder in look for the sponsor's perspective to support an event that they don't have any information about it. People
right.
are willing to go there. Who will be the keynotes? So yeah, but you are right. The financial risk is there, and it's the most challenging part of organizing a conference is how to handle the financial risk. And the thing that I trying to do is to increase the spending just when I receive enough sponsorship. For example, I didn't had t-shirts at the beginning, but I was lucky to raise enough money. So 1 month before the event, I decided to go for t-shirts, and t-shirts are really nice because it's a free advertising about the conference people are wearing, and people are proud that he went to a conference. So it's really nice, but I wasn't planning to do that. I wasn't planning to pay for speakers travels, and I know that I saw other interview that you made, and I know that some organizers are think, believe that that's a must, but it's so hard because we don't have it. If you don't raise enough money, so we're gonna
Yeah,
have problem, and usually companies are willing to pay for their employees to go to the conference. So
yeah.
stepping up and say, "Oh, I will pay for your expenses," will be a burden for the organizers. That I personally try to avoid. As much as possible because of the financial risk of the operation.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, you said you went on like a lot of like podcasts and stuff like that for the marketing. How early
Yeah.
did you start that? Did you start that like right after Rails World or when was that?
Yeah, actually, I use the Rails word to be able to have content to talk about it here in Brazil because we don't have that much Brazilians going to Rails world because it's very expensive.
Yeah.
So I came back to Brazil and I reached the most well-known uh, tech podcast in Brazil, and I told them, "Hey, I just came back to Rails world. do you want to host me and maybe Rafael França? That's a core from the core team. And then, oh, okay, come. And then I start talking about in podcasts, going to meetups and talking about the conference. Yeah. So it was just after the resort.
Gotcha. Do you know your first year what percentage of the attendees were from Brazil versus from international?
Uh, I I don't know for sure, but most of them are from Brazil.
Okay.
In terms of speakers, usually we have half of the speakers are from Brazil and half of speakers are from abroad. But I have a lot of people coming from Argentina, from Uruguay, the countries close to Brazil, because then Brazil's it's more accessible to them. But
Right.
coming from abroad, we do have, but sometimes are long travel, to come to Brazil from US, from Europe's 11 hours flight. Usually, probably sometimes they don't have a direct flight, so
Yeah, yeah.
that's a problem. But I'm always saying to people that we do have live translation. So when someone from abroad come to Brazil for the conference, they will be able to listen in English every talk because we do live translation, here.
Yeah, that's really cool. Um, did you ooh, I had a question. Uh oh, how big, how many tickets did you sell the first year? How many attendees were there?
It was 350. Yeah,
Okay. And then how big was it last year?
it was 650. Yeah,
Wow. Okay. Are you planning to go bigger next year or are you going to keep it at that size? 600 is a lot.
yeah, yeah. It's a lot, and if I want, I can increase the
Yeah.
number of attendees, but I don't want. And that brings a subject that, if you want, I can brings that why I'm doing the conference and why I'm doing the conference the way I'm doing,
Yeah.
because uh, some I went to a lot of events because of my first company. So in some sense, I have a taste of what a good conference means for me.
Hmm.
And when I started to do the tropical, I was thinking I will be creating a conference that I would like to go, not any kind of conference. So that's why we are a single track conference, because I personally don't like multiple track conference, because a talk ends and you have to break for 15 minutes. You have to decide, oh, should I stay, should I go, where is the
Yeah.
talk? I hate those kind of things. And later on, when you start talking with another person, oh, that talk was really nice. Oh, I missed that because I was in the other conference, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't like I don't like that. But the other side is that I have just a small number of speakers, because we only have one track, so that's a kind of problem. But it's the kind of conference that I like. I like to say that it's the omakase experience for conference. That's
Yeah.
what you're gonna receive. What I'm and Rafael and the others organizers are being preparing for you. You are not able to decide, between talks. You are able to decide, oh, I don't want to see that talk and I'm gonna leave. But
Yeah.
that's it's the program. So I really like that kind of experience. I really like I trying to create tropical as kind of a show, like
Hmm.
we have uh huge streams there. My team has been usually they prepare a lot of videos, to show to the people, to motivate the people, loud music and
Yeah. Yeah.
lights going on. I like that kind of stuff. It's my way of trying to do the conference. It's how I like it. And uh I'm sure that I don't wanna, increase the number of attendees because it will make it a different conference. When you pass a certain threshold, the conference changed a lot, and I don't want to
Right.
go into that. And the most important part, now I found a place. Now I found the vendors that I need to just replicate the conference that I did last year with a little less effort. So
Hmm.
it's very hard when I decide to increase the number of attendees. I had to move the venue and I had to start over because every venue has the AV guy. The other venue has another guy for food. So it's starting over the event, and I'm planning for the future. I want to make Tropical for 10 years. So in order to be able to do that, I need something that are more easy to replicate every year.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah. So you think you'll keep it around that 600 people. And did
Yeah,
you sell out last year at
700.
600?
Yeah, I think I can reach 700 because it will fit on the venue. But yeah, I want to keep that way.
Right. And did you sell out last year at that 650 mark?
Yeah, it was 6 hours,
Oh,
even
wow.
faster.
Wow. Awesome. Um, so you talked a little bit about like the production of the conference. I really like a lot of the effort that you guys put into like the videos and everything like that. Do you have someone specifically on the team that's doing all the marketing, or do you kind of split that up between people?
Yeah, it's funny. On the first edition, I hired a friend to be able to create everything related to AV, to record. He does something that is really nice, that he's able to, after the day, doing some kind of same day video editing. So
Mhm.
we are able to present what happens during that day, and people are mind blowing. Oh, I can believe it, you guys had the time to do that already. So
Yeah.
uh and he did an amazing job, and I end up hiring him to my own company. So right
Nice.
now he works to my company, and during Tropical he helped us with that AV kind of thing. I also hired someone else to handle the social, to be posting on LinkedIn, on Twitter, to create a strategy to how what kind of posts they should be creating. So this is a separate team, and on the day, that team, the social team, is there to trying to engage with everyone through social medias. So that are the AV, the social team, and the guys that we hired for make everything happen with mic and camera and everything else.
Yeah. I really liked I saw that you did like a tropical flicks. It was like a Netflix kind of play uh on a series and you had all the speakers. I thought that was
Yeah.
really clever. Um Kind of going back to the sponsors really quick. Do you have like all the packages laid out of what exactly you offer each one and like what are some of the things that you offer sponsors and do you do anything special there that you think other conferences don't do or that you do best?
Okay, so that's really hard, right? Sponsorship, because everyone. Right now, my cat is on my with me here. So that's very hard because what I learned is that every company are willing to sponsor for a different reason. Some companies like App Signal, Roy, they are sponsoring conference just because they believe that it's a good thing to do. It's kind of a give it back.
Mhm.
I try to, hey, Roy, let's try to do something here, and it's okay, it's fine, just take money, and I'm knowing that you are doing a good thing. So that's the best kind of sponsors. But Others are going there because they want to sell for developers. Others are, US companies that are trying to hire Brazilians. So that's a good, it's something that I found out that was really good because they're willing to come to Brazil to find developers, and developers in Brazil want to work for American companies. So that's
Yeah.
a match.
Yeah.
And every year I'm trying to speak with them and asking, hey man, how can I provide more value to sponsors? And
Yeah.
one of the things that I heard last year, it was from Braulio from Cedar Code, and they said, "Oh man, I wish I could, talk with others sponsors, because I felt that I was there alone." So I got that feedback,
Ah,
and I did something different this year. The dinners, the speaker dinners that every conference has, I have opened for sponsors as well with a limited number of tickets. If you are silver, you have one ticket. If you are platinum, you have 3, 4 seats on that dinner. And I heard a lot of good feedbacks about that, because now you are sponsors, you as a sponsor, you'll be able to have dinner with Chris Oliver, to talk
yeah.
with another consultant companies that are sponsoring, and share some experience. So that's something that I don't know if anyone does that. I don't know how Hope Central or Rails Foundation does, but I did that here, and it was really good. I'm planning to do the same next year.
That's really cool. That's an awesome idea. I might steal that one. 'Cause that is cool. Yeah, I was trying to think of like things um to try to offer more value to sponsors. And it's hard too because like you said, different sponsors are there for different reasons. So yeah, that's a cool one that I had not heard. I don't know of anybody else that is doing that. So I really like that one.
Yeah,
Um,
and I also do, for example, for speakers. I don't have the money to pay them to come to Brazil,
yeah,
but I was with Marco Roth, and man, giving some feedbacks. What we are doing here is what we're expecting, and he was, oh man, you are going beyond, because for every speakers that doesn't speak Portuguese, me myself, I go to the airport and I'll be waiting for the speakers to arrive in Brazil, put them in a car, and I drop him on the conference hotel, because I
yeah,
know that uh, people may become insecure because they don't speak the language, and they will come
yeah,
here
definitely.
to Brazil. So I do that for almost everyone when I can. If I can't go there, I send someone from my team to go to pick them up and to drop in the hotel. So I usually we prepare a lot of gifts, for the speakers, some for sponsors. So I always trying to those that kind of things, so they can feel good about uh, coming to the conference, about coming to Brazil, because
Yeah,
that's another thing that is important. It's not going to a conference, it's going to a different place. I was in Philly for the first time, and it was awesome. The city, and a guy there just organized a walking tour to the city, and it's the whole city experience and the whole come to Brazil experience. So I trying to provide Brazilian food for the speakers, for the sponsors in meeting room outside. So I trying to engage with them. I have one guy that it's Thiago, that's a friend of mine for a long date, and he was organizing the conference back then as well. And he's responsible for make for hang out with everyone. His role is to go to a restaurant, to go to have dinner, to have lunch, to prepare a lot of events for the persons that are coming to Brazil for the first time. So that's his role, and I do believe it's one of the most important roles, because it's not just the conference, the whole travel experience.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Um, Kind of along those lines, can you think of something that you did that maybe had an unexpected impact? Like maybe it was something that you thought was small at the time, but afterwards people would come up to you and say, "Oh, I'm so glad you did this." Do you have
Yeah,
something like that?
yeah. For example, when people came to Brazil, I bought, uh, the plug adapter. I don't know, the
Oh,
international plug adapter. So
yeah,
I brought a lot of them and I put on the gift for the speakers, because I knew that they, were not expecting the Brazilian
yeah,
energy adapter. So I gave one for everyone. And a few months later, I heard Amanda Perino on a podcast saying, "Oh, the guys from Tropical are so thoughtful. They gave us AV adapters because they are worried about the little details with our whole experience." So that was awesome. I wasn't expecting that. She was
yeah,
that you could be talking to others that we did that, and it's always it's so cheap. It's just
yeah,
$2-3 that I had to spend to give to the speakers. But the jazz, they felt like we are being taken care of them, so that was
yeah.
nice.
Awesome. That is really good. Um, is there anything that you did uh at your conference that you feel really proud of, or something that you feel like you do at your conference that nobody else does? Like maybe one or two things that you're really proud of?
Mm, I think looking for the Brazilian community, I try to engage, not just the attendees that are willing to go to the conference, but I was very worried about the local meetups, something that Group Central does. I have reached every local meetup organizer and talk with them, and man, it's the time to bring him back uh, small meetups, because I knew that if people are going to local meetup, they will be willing to go to another city to a huge event. So um, I brought them together in a WhatsApp channel, and we start to talking with other. And I saw that a lot of regional meetups coming back. I I it's not because of the tropical, but we help them, to be to bring the energy back to organizing
Yeah.
events. So I saw a lot of events coming back in all over Brazil, in a lot of cities. And on the first edition, I invited everyone who had organizing a local meetup on the stage to give a gift to them, and to make everyone on the audience to be aware that they had small meetups during the whole year around them. They just don't have to wait for a year to go to Sao Paulo, to go to Tropical. So that's something I'm proud of, because I'm really into. I learned Ruby on my local meetup in my city. When I was going to that local meetup and I had content with Ruby. So that's why I'm so deep connected with community, because I learned that way.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. Um, okay, if you could give yourself one piece of advice before doing your first conference, what would it be?
Uh, I think it's uh, it's it's hard. Uh, uh, I I think after the first edition, I was burned out. I was so worried about the details, that everything should be in place, because, like told you, I have a specific taste for a conference, so I want everything to be that specific way. So I didn't enjoy much the conference myself. I didn't went out with uh, the speakers, the sponsors after the conference because I was completely burned out. So
Yeah.
for the second edition, my goal was to have more people helping me, but not any kind of people that were aligned with the goal that I was looking for. So I was able to enjoy a little bit more because, like I said, I don't want just to, make a conference for 1, 2 years. I want to push it forward for a while. So in order that I will be able to make it happen for a while, I have to optimize for my happiness as well. I have to be, happy in doing that. I'm emceeing the conference and I'm loving doing that. I love to hang out with everyone of the conference. So I have to find room for enjoying the conference myself. And during the first edition, I didn't, so that was a
Yeah.
mistake.
Gotcha. Yeah. Definitely good to remember that. Um, so I guess before we wrap up here, have you started planning for 2026? Is there anything that you can reveal that you're excited for?
Actually, I didn't started yet.
Okay.
I'm planning to start on Rails World. I'm going there. I don't know
Oh
if
yeah.
you go. We're gonna meet there in person. But what I'm doing for this year is that I will start a podcast here in Brazil in Portuguese because we have a lot of great podcasts talking about Ruby, and there is a lot of them popping up recently,
Mhm.
but we don't have in Portuguese. So I
Yeah.
want to bring one in Portuguese, and that will my thesis is that it will help me to engage with speakers, with sponsors. So it will be something like having a little bit of tropical during the whole year. That's why I bought that nice microphone and light and a good camera because I'm trying to start a podcast to help the tropical event as a whole.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and your knowledge. I got a lot of good ideas, a lot of stuff that I'm gonna borrow from Tropical, I think. And yeah, I appreciate you being so generous. And yeah, hopefully one day I can make it to Tropical. It is
Yeah,
a long trip, but yeah, I've so many good things about your conference that I would love to see in person. So thank you.
nice, man. Thank you so much for having me. I love it. I saw that you have interviewed the best event organizers, Ruby events organizers in the world. So it's an honor to to be invited as well.
Yeah,
And yeah, please come to Brazil. I will be very happy to receive you here.
awesome. Sounds good. Thank you.